Hey bronies and Pegasisters, this is the Corpulent Brony. Today I'm going to perorate about Leap of Faith, the newest episode of My Little Pony that aired today, Saturday. I am actually making this recording the day of the episode because I want to get my thoughts down as soon as they've come into my head without being influenced by any other external sources. So let's get started, shall we? The episode starts out with a bit of a shout out for you Pegasisters or female bronies out there. Following the trend this season of all of the wet mane ponies, we're treated to a bit of a wet mane Big Mac playing like a little colt there in the water with his sister. All you girls out there, just keep calm, keep your panties on, okay?
Now every pony knows the only way to make the gods happy is to feed them a steady diet of virgins. We see here one of our gifts climbing the sacrificing tower, ready to give herself up to the gods. She bravely leaps 6 stories into the fissure and delivers herself to the underworld, thereby guaranteeing us a happy harvest come autumn.
So we have Wet Mane Big Macintosh for the fillies, and we have Wet Mane Apple Bloom for the pedophiles. Holy shit, it's a fucking rare freshwater shark in the pony swimming hole. What the fuck? Oh wait, it's just Big Mac, never mind. Tangent time. There sure has been a lot of Big Macintosh this season, hasn't there? I mean, we had an episode where we actually got to hear Big Mac singing. We're having tons of dialogue from Big Mac. Personally, I really think this is a great trend. I'm really interested to, hear from more ponies, specifically ponies of the male gender. Not only because, believe it or not, I myself am of the male gender, but also because it adds a little bit of diversity to the world of equestria, at least to what we see and hear of it on a weekly basis, to actually get to hear a manly stallion voice versus all of the mares. But don't get me wrong, I do love the mares, especially Twilight. Twilight Time showed us the walking dead children of Ponyville. Now we are seeing the walking injured ponies. I say it's only a matter of time before all of these ponies turn into ghouls due to exposure to the taint. Little Pip, where are you when we need you? Yeah, I mean, how can this go wrong? Let's follow all of these injured ponies. I mean, they obviously know what they're doing and they obviously have all the shit in their life together. Yeah, let's do it. Let's follow our ears, man. Quit being such a fucking pussy, Applejack. Time for some more in-depth analysis. I really enjoy the use we've seen, especially this season, although I think it's been hinted at prior, of the use of fireflies as light sources for the ponies. I think it really adds a lot to the magic of Equestria. Previously, we've sort of seen light bulbs around, and maybe they just haven't zoomed in on them, and in your head you could think, well, maybe those are all being powered by these bioluminescent insects. Who knows? Of course, when we see these spotlights shine on the wagon, it's pretty obvious that there must be something more than bioluminescence powering that sort of a light source. I think it's real interesting to think about the technology and the way they presented technology in this generation of My Little Pony. It's really been vague about what exactly they have versus prior generations of My Little Pony, where apparently there was a series where they actually lived in modern times with school buses and diners and all sorts of crazy contraptions, or even G1 where we saw ponies living in really a medieval world where there was no technology, basically. There was a world of just pure magic. And I've always thought that technology really is a form of magic, and I really like the way that this idea is really translated in the G4 version of My Little Pony, and I like the way that it's being treated here. And the fireflies are just a cute, wonderful little cherry on top of that whole idea. Aw shit, it's the Flim Flam brothers again. And then there was the hypochondriac song. I think the one thing that today's young people need is more shit to worry about in the world out there. I think it's real important that they worry about germs everywhere they go. And I think this song is the perfect vehicle to teach our kids that, hey, we've got all these scary looking germs out there, so yeah, you're gonna need some fucking tonic to fix that shit. Who the fuck am I kidding? These are truly traveling sales ponies non-pareil. And whenever I hear them start to sing a song, I just can't help it, but I just gotta buy whatever it is they're selling. I see your dress made out of meat, and I raise you a dress made out of Paris sprites. Okay, honestly, I don't know what it was, but the second I first saw Silver Shill on screen, I knew immediately he was the shill. I mean, he had to be a shill. And in my head, I immediately named him Shill Hooves. I know, very inventive name. I like to see the way these ponies are dancing as an allusion to the Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000, when, of course, the Flim Flam Brothers were first introduced. And when they sang their song, you see the exact same leg moves on many of the ponies. And I do not know if I've ever seen this before in My Little Pony, except when the Flim Flam Brothers are up on stage. But whenever they're up there, just something gets in the legs of these ponies and makes them crazy. I believe the technical term for it is Pony Restless Hoof Syndrome. Wow, this amazing tonic can make you grow shorter, taller, older, even younger. Where the fuck was this for Twilight back in Magic Duel? She sure could have used this tonic to have defeated Trixie much easier. You know, this moment in this episode, when I see the look on Granny Smith's face, it's hard, if you look at her face, it's hard not to feel anger and not to recognize the evil that the Flim Flam Brothers are bringing on with their little tonic here. I mean, they're just out to make a couple bits. Can't blame them. They're trying to be capitalists about this. But the look on her face of just surprise and how hard she really wants to believe this tonic is going to be the cure-all that will allow her to be a young pony again. It's really heartbreaking for me. What the fuck kind of bait is that? Are you telling me Big Mac is attempting to fish with a fucking whole apple? You've got to be kidding me. Are there really fish in Equestria who would bite on a whole fucking apple? I'm having such a hard time wrapping my brain around this. I just don't really know what to say. The Smoo Goddess, ever a Disney fangirl, pointed out to me that the bathing suit that Granny Smith is wearing here, and actually she's also wearing it in the flashback scene at the beginning of the episode. Granny Smith's bathing suit is nearly identical to the outfits that Minnie Mouse would often wear. I don't like to think of Flim and Flam as stupid ponies, but I gotta say, for them to use the exact same shill for both of their shows in Ponyville, in the exact same outfit with the exact same story, seems to me to be kind of weak on their part. I mean, anyone who's defrauded any town of as much money as possible knows that when you're picking a shill for each performance, you want to make sure that shill is unique to each performance. I mean, do we really need to send Flim and Flam to some sort of school for beginning Flim Flam artists? One of my most favorite parts of this episode is Applejack's confrontation with Flim and Flam. She comes up to them and says, listen, you guys, I think, there's nothing to this tonic. I think it's all a fraud. And instead of the Flim Flam Brothers prevaricating and pretending that actually what they've done in this tonic is actually real, instead of going through the whole rigmarole of, oh yeah, this is really real, let's prove it to you. You know what? The Flim Flam Brothers show that they're actually sort of honest, and that they say, well, let's say that this is true. And even though they're saying it in this sort of sarcastic way of, yeah, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, they're in front of her, making the tonic and showing her it consists of apples and mint leaves, and they're pressing it and they're pouring it right into the tonic bottles right in front of Applejack, and then they hand her one of those bottles, basically saying, hey, guess what, you're right, the only stuff in it is apples and mint, and you know what, that's what's in it. And the fact that they're just being straight with Applejack, and she's taking that and she's gonna run with that, and it's actually, this is the moment that I realized that this would be a key episode. I know some people, I think when I made that realization, something in my head flashed back to other people maybe months ago theorizing that the Flim Flam Brothers episode would be Applejack's obvious moment to get her key, but it wasn't until this actual moment in this episode that it occurred to me that Applejack is now faced with quite a dilemma, and I realized that this would definitely be a key episode, and I realized that Applejack was going to be sort of forced to lie, although I'm not sure she actually lied, I'll get into that in a moment, but she would be forced to lie just to be a good pony, and we'll see what ensues. On subsequent viewings of this episode, I've realized that after realizing that nothing special was in the tonic, Applejack never actually commits a lie. She never actually comes out and says, you know what, there's magic in this tonic, and I think it's really working, and I think it's really good, and I think we should definitely use it. And she's always very careful to choose her words in such a way that she doesn't bring doubt to the tonic, and she accepts that, at least for her grandmother, this shit seems to be working, and she seems to be making her better. But she never comes out and says anything more than that. And of course, the lie of omission comes in when the Flim Flam brothers start to say, hey, this shit is Applejack approved. It has the Applejack stamp of approval. And they're even going so far as to use her image, I'm sure without compensation, in order to sell the tonic. And it's at this moment that Applejack does not immediately step up and say, whoa, no, I do not approve of this tonic. All I have said is it's working for my Granny Smith. I am not saying that this shit is going to do anything for any other pony. So it was just interesting to me that she's never, from what I can tell in this episode, there's no overt lies of commission from Applejack. She's merely failing to correct other ponies' assumptions that she's approving of this tonic just because she's approving of the effects it's having on Granny Smith. Like many bronies, in my head I have sort of a list of the main six in order of how cool I think each of them are, and Applejack's never been really on the top part of that list. Even today, I guess she's still probably near the bottom. She sort of goes back and forth, 5th and 6th place between Rarity and Applejack in my head. I know a lot of bronies out there would probably think I'm crazy. I've got to say, this whole Applejack on a swing thing was just so gall darn cute. It's added quite a few points to Applejack's cuteness factor for me. Now, if only she were wearing those boots. A pony of a different color. Wow, wow. I think I'm speechless here. I mean, that is one hell of an illusion. Bravo. Granny Smith is going to take the lot. Wait, this reminds me of something. Here's where Applejack actually commits her lie of omission in this episode. I can't find anywhere else where she's specifically lying or committing a lie. There's a couple more spots right before her eyes get all rainbowy when she's sort of omitting and not interrupting everyone and saying, yo, Flim and Flam are smoking crack. I do not approve of this for every pony. But this is actually the first lie of the episode. Wow, LYRA is a tough fucking judge. I'm sorry, but playing the lyre, which is, I guess, sort of the brony fandom's interpretation of Lyra's job, so to speak, how does that give her the knowledge and expertise to be judging in this aquabatics competition? I see the little song and dance that Granny Smith and Apple Bloom do, actually as they're stretching, is a great allusion back to Family Appreciation Day. Really appreciated that. Did the animators just get cheap or something here? Because there's really like no ponies watching this aquabatics competition. But then again, in some ways this I think would mirror real life. For some reason, I don't think any aquabatics competition in real life would necessarily have stands that are full of people. And the performance that Sweetie Belle and Granny Smith do here is pretty damn cool for what they're doing. And it is impressive, and I don't blame them for getting perfect score on it. I think LYRA actually does make a good judgment call there. What I don't understand, though, is, apparently this is another skill that Apple Bloom has, and where the fuck's her cutie mark? I think Applejack obviously is doing the right thing and trying to stop Granny Smith from plunging into a little pie pan. But man, she does it in such a characteristically pessimistic, killjoy manner. I mean, really, Applejack? Really? We just want to have fun. And like that, Applejack sees the light. I know everyone's calling it, the rainbow light because of the rainbow-fied line of ponies. Of course, you do see 6 specific colors in those eyes, and the colors correspond freakishly well to the colors of the main 6. And Applejack realizes that by not speaking out and saying, I don't think this is a good idea, this tonic does not cure any pony. There's nothing special in it. By not speaking out, she was being dishonest. She was committing lies via omission. And it's at this moment that Applejack realizes it, and she figures out what she must do to fix it. And key number 5 is in the box. There's one more remaining, every pony, and that key is going to be Twilight Sparkle's key. I can't wait for it. Although I fear I'm probably going to have to wait until the last episode of the season, which is bittersweet because I can't wait to see Twilight's episode, but at the same time, to have to wait for the next season is not something I'm looking forward to. I don't know if any pony else has noticed, but this episode marks the 3rd episode of the 4th season that centers primarily on the Apple family, with the other 2 episodes being Pinky Apple Pie and Some Pony to Watch Over Me. In Pinky Apple Pie, we were at least treated to Pinkie Pie, and in Some Pony to Watch Over Me, we of course were treated to the rest of the CMC. But in both of these episodes, with those exceptions, and actually including this most recent episode, Leap of Faith, none of the other main 6 ponies have even appeared in these episodes. And these are actually the only episodes this entire season that have centered on characters and not had the whole main 6 at least appear in the episode, and with the exception of some CMC episodes. And it's very odd to me that all of a sudden there's all this focus being placed on the Apple family. And to be honest with you, I've got a theory. I think this has something to do with the Hub's new promotional angle of making family fun. And obviously the most family-like of all of the pony families, if you can call them that, is the Apple family. Kind of split about it. Like I said, Applejack's not my favorite pony. Apple Bloom's not bad. I do enjoy Granny Smith and Big Macintosh. But man, there's been a lot of Apple this season. 20 episodes so far for season 4. In those 20 episodes, there have been 5 episodes featuring the main 6. Princess Twilight Sparkle 1 and 2, Castlemania, Power Ponies, and sort of Three's a Crowd. That was sort of a Twilight episode, I guess. There was the 2 episodes with Rainbow Dash as a featured character, but with the main 6 really tagging along for the entire adventure. Those 2 episodes were Daring Don't and Rainbow Falls. There was 1 episode with Rarity and the main 6 tagging along, and that was her key episode, Rarity Takes Manhattan. There were 2 episodes with Pinkie Pie and the main 6 tagging along. Pinkie Pride, where she got her key, and Maud Pie. There were 2 episodes with Fluttershy that featured the main 6 again, tagging along. Philly Vanilli, which some of the main 6 did play less of a role, that was more of a Fluttershy episode. And It Ain't Easy Being Breezy's, which of course was her key episode. There were 2 CMC episodes, the Flight to the Finish and Twilight Time. There was the Rarity/Sweetie Belle episode, For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils. And then we had 2 episodes that were Applejack plus another character focused. Those were Bats, which was really Applejack and Fluttershy, and that little disagreement between them was the crux of that episode. Of course, it did feature the rest of the main 6 as well. And then there was Simple Ways, which featured the love triangle of Rarity, Applejack, and Trenderhoof. And then there were 3 Apple family episodes that I've mentioned: Pinky Apple Pie, Some Pony to Watch Over Me, and Leap of Faith. We do have a sister episode with Rarity and Sweetie Belle, and this could actually lend more credence to my theory that they're looking for family-based episodes nowadays more than anything. And then you've got 2 episodes featuring Applejack and another main 6 character, and 3 episodes featuring the Apple family. Can't be the only one noticing this trend. This is definitely a trend. I mean, please tell me if I'm going crazy here. But it does seem like Apple family is becoming more and more and more of an influence on My Little Pony. Let me know what you think.